So you may or may not have heard about the leaks that have come out about the new Squid Game event in Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Now, I remember when they teased the event some time ago and I figured, yeah, it sounds interesting enough. The trailer that Activision came out with also seemed pretty engaging, though I wasn't sure how I felt about the event as a whole. I figured I'd try and give it the benefit of the doubt, but honestly, after these new leaks, I'm a bit jaded with what Black Ops 6 is doing about this. So as we all know, I talked in yesterday's video about the value of the Battle Pass and the value of the Black Cell Battle Pass, why I feel like the Black Cell, honestly, each season, logistically buying it is a bad idea from a financial standpoint, but this goes honestly a little bit beyond just that. So apparently the new Squid Game event that's opening on January 3rd is going to have some stuff to unlock and some more stuff to unlock, but some of that more stuff is going to be paywalled. What a shocker, am I right? Actually, to be honest, I kinda was a little bit shocked when I heard about this. I mean, I figured, this doesn't really make much sense, right? We've already got a premium battle pass, which is the Black Cell. We've got a Vault Edition upgrade, blah, 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 skin bundles, Mastercraft bundles, whatever. So what's the point of adding passes with more paywalls to lock them? This news comes from Charlie Intel over on Twitter, or X as it's called now, but even though I'll never think of it as anything but Twitter. But anyways, to the main point that I'm talking about, Charlie Intel tweeted that Activision is going to be adding an additional microtransaction Call of Duty with something called an event pass. Basically, the message in the game states that the Squid Game event will have an event pass with a premium track for more content. To preface what I'm about to say, I enjoy this game. I like the Black Ops 6 multiplayer. As I said in my review a while back, this is the first Call of Duty in a while to make me feel like I actually would like to play every day, and it's the first to make me feel actually excited to play the multiplayer. I like zombies too. I enjoy this game in an overall sense. The campaign wasn't too bad. I think it has a lot of positives. I personally haven't encountered issues with hackers, and the packet burst connection stuff, they're pretty minimal at worst, like not enough to make me rage quit or hate the game. The microtransactions to me are negligible because almost every game at this point that I play has some sort of microtransaction system attached to it, be it free or paid. I'm pretty used to this stuff by now. I also don't like to buy too many. It's just for, a few games that I'd be willing to think about paying for microtransactions. Basically, the only game that I ever would pay a lot more for is like Call of Duty, with a battle pass, and maybe, like a strong maybe, a skin bundle or two across the game's entire life cycle. Definitely not every skin bundle. And in Black Ops 6, honestly, I'm not a huge fan of these skin bundles. I really liked Modern Warfare 2019's Modern Warfare 2 skin bundles, but they had a very different vibe to them than the ones in Black Ops 6. In any case, let that be known before I get into my opinions on this news. I'm honestly not a fan of the idea of a premium event pass, and I think that it doesn't make sense in a game like Call of Duty, honestly, in the slightest. Okay, skins are one thing. A battle pass is another thing. Whatever, you can excuse these things. Most games have cosmetics that are paywalled. Even a single player game like Assassin's Creed, they've got like skins that are paywalled. It's whatever, okay? But Call of Duty isn't a free game. If a game like Fortnite or Warframe did this, then I totally understand and wouldn't say anything about it. The games are free. They gotta make money somehow. A monetization scheme like that makes sense in the context of the price of the game. Call of Duty being on Game Pass now doesn't negate the fact that you still need to pay to play the game in the first place, and not everyone playing it has Game Pass. And if we want to take this further, the Game Pass monthly subscription adds up, and it's not free at the end of the day. So there is no free entry point to Call of Duty except for Warzone, and that's like a separate entity essentially. Therefore, the sheer figure of microtransactions in the game is a bit bizarre to me. At the same time, yeah, I get why Activision does this from a corporate standpoint. If you study business like I did, and specifically finance, a lot of the things that we learn about are consumer psychology, why companies do what they do, and specifically what sort of experiments they run in order to test their consumers to see what they're willing to pay for and what they're not willing to pay for. There's a lot of psychology that goes into this stuff. So obviously Activision hasn't just come up with this out of the blue. They've done extensive research and study into what works and what isn't working, and is operating on that sort of scale. This is also one of these situations, that being the concept of an extra battle pass. They're running an experiment to see if people will pay into this, and if they do in a way that makes them a good amount of money, then they'll likely keep doing this. Same as any other monetization scheme that they've tested in the past. Do I think that this is ethical from a consumer standpoint? Obviously it's not. Do I think it makes sense from a corporate standpoint? Yeah, obviously it does. Does that mean it's good? No. As a consumer, it's not a good thing to see that this is happening. Now, it's possible that if Activision gets a ton of backlash from the player community regarding a premium event pass, or if it doesn't work from a monetary standpoint, meaning it just didn't make enough money, then it's very possible that they won't do this again, or they may not do it as often. We are supposed to be getting more details on what this event premium pass thingy is going to include, but for right now, the leaks are kind of what we're going off of. However, I honestly don't think there will realistically be much backlash from the entire player community. I see most people don't really think about this stuff and will likely buy it if they really want it, and we do know that Squid Game was a sort of cultural phenomenon with how large it got and how popular it was. I don't know if you guys used TikTok during that era in time, but everyone was talking about Squid Game. Everyone was making that dalgona candy. Everyone legit was just talking about this show. So it's possible that the overlap in people who watched it to Call of Duty players was big enough for Activision to greenlight the idea in the first place. I watched Squid Game myself. I liked it, but I definitely will say that I didn't like it enough to drop any money on skins from it. That's just not something that I would do. Good show, not enough to make me pay for stuff for it or whatever it may be. I mean, I watched the show because I saw a lot of hype around it, and then that hype definitely did explode in popularity because Mr. Beast did a whole Squid Game recreation thing, and he also got Beast Games on Amazon Prime, which is basically just like Squid Game without death. So obviously people like that stuff enough for Call of Duty to justify the existence of the event. I've yet to watch season 2, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be mid because the story was very clearly supposed to be done in season 1. I don't perceive this type of story to be one that should continue, but whatever, Netflix does what it wants. I saw some images online of the event pass or whatever, and I don't know if these are the actual ones, if these are official, but I mean, from looking at them, if these are credible leaks, I really don't see why you'd pay extra for these things. An extra operator, a weapon blueprint, oh, there's a charm. That's kind of useless. I personally don't really see the value of this event pass in the slightest. It's not known precisely how many COD points this is going to cost, and I'm not sure if I heard anything on that subject. It might be something you have to buy with real money like Black Cell, but even so, whatever the price may be, like more than $5 on this is crazy. I know it's going to be at least, like at minimum, $20. Maybe that's lowballing it, honestly. I don't know. Knowing Activision, this isn't going to be cheap. I mean, if you have disposable income, I guess this means nothing in the grand scheme of things, but I'm just saying you could straight up buy entire video games on Steam or whatever for the price of these microtransactions. A lot more value in that, I would say. But anyways, moving on. What my concerns are is that Call of Duty's premium game is going to delve into the mobile sphere. And if you've ever played Call of Duty Mobile, you will know what I'm talking about, that these sorts of monetization techniques that a lot of free mobile games use include stuff like the cool goofy skins and event passes and the loot boxes and whatever, a lot of gacha mechanics as well. I strongly fear that Call of Duty's annual premium release is going to start utilizing these techniques because the big difference is that mobile is mobile and free and gets content updates, meaning it's the same game and your skins aren't going to be obsolete in a year. Meanwhile, the annual Call of Duty is not free and is not going to get continuous content updates and will be obsolete in a year. Come October 2025, you're going to switch over to the next Call of Duty and you'll have no use for whatever you bought in Black Ops 6, and at some point they're not going to keep integrating every Call of Duty into Warzone, let's be fair. And even if you want to argue from the perspective of Warzone, like, well, hey, Warzone's free, like Fortnite, like Warframe, so an event pass in Warzone makes sense because it's a free game. Sure, I'll give you that, but at the same time, for people who don't play Warzone, they're still impacted by these microtransaction bundles, and also at the same time, Warzone isn't like Fortnite, where Fortnite is a continuous game that has been updated since I remember it releasing so many years ago. That was a game you played and it just kept getting updates. Warframe, same thing. A lot of these games that have longevity in them, they have longevity because they keep updating and your stuff remains. It is retained, essentially. With Warzone, they didn't retain everything, okay? So when you played Warzone the first time, when Modern Warfare 2019 came out, the skins you earned then did not pass over when they integrated it with the new stuff. There's a lot of things in there that are not there anymore. So no, if you're only playing Warzone, you still didn't keep everything you've gotten over all the years that Warzone has been active. And knowing Activision, with the fact that they even created a Warzone 2.0, they're going to keep doing this and they're going to keep swapping out the Call of Duties that are integrated with Warzone. So at the end of the day, there is a spillover in the effects on Warzone as much as there is on the multiplayer Call of Duty. Now look, if you ask me, the existence of a premium event pass is ridiculous. I usually don't care about microtransactions. Honestly, I couldn't care less if you spent money on them. Your money, your value, your decisions, it's whatever. However, I do think that buying something like this is just useless. It doesn't make sense in the grand scheme of things. There's going to be more events, and if people buy into this, then yeah, Activision is going to bring this back instead of focusing on issues that people are having with the game, like server connection issues, rampant hacking problems, and more. Nothing will ever be perfect. There will always be glitches, errors, bugs, and so on, and I mean that. Look at how complicated game development is, and you'll understand that some issues are just not easy to fix, especially with how much goes into a Call of Duty game, plus with Warzone integration, it's just a lot, okay? It's not an easy situation to deal with. Yes, the team working on these things is not the same team as the one working on, the microtransaction designs and whatever, I don't care. But at the end of the day, allocating resources and time to developing event passes costs money, and I feel like, that money could be better spent fixing fundamental issues with the game than just creating event passes, and also actually addressing those fundamental issues in the game instead of telling us, hey guys, we're dropping another skin bundle, enjoy. Now, will this spell the end of Call of Duty as we know it? Of course not, don't exaggerate guys. Call of Duty isn't gonna die. These complaints have been said year after year after year since Call of Duty has released, and Call of Duty has still been going strong for a really, really long time. It's not gonna be replaced anytime in the near future, it's here to stay. Everyone knows what Call of Duty is. Every kid who gets a new PlayStation or whatever automatically wants Call of Duty first. Literally, most people I know play Call of Duty. It is basically the most recognizable game, the most profitable first-person shooter, one of the most profitable high-selling games of all time. Yeah, this game isn't gonna die. Not in the near future, not for a really, really long time. And now with Microsoft owning Activision, meaning it owns Call of Duty, unless Microsoft basically tanks in the next 10 years or so, Call of Duty is here to stay, and it's only going to grow more from an analytical standpoint. Plus, Microsoft added it to Game Pass, wants to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo platforms. Call of Duty is very much going to remain a top contender each year, no matter what we think. So I don't believe Call of Duty adding a premium event pass is the end of the game, but I do think that it's a pretty stupid move, and I think it's pointless, and honestly, I can't see any reason why anyone would buy that. Earning stuff for free, like in the Archie's event or whatever, that's fine by me. This makes sense. The game isn't free. There's a battle pass. There's more than enough monetization for this type of premium game. Obviously, with a corporation, you're trying to maximize revenue to maximize profit. Duh, this is like basic stuff. But at the same time, if they keep doing these premium event passes, at some point, we're not going to see any more like free unlockable event stuff. Like that's just going to vanish at some point in the future. If not in Black Ops 6 or the next Call of Duty, the Call of Duty after that, and then the Call of Duty after that, the more you kind of let this go, let it slip, the more big it gets, the more of a scale you're gonna see. But in any case, me talking about it isn't gonna change the fact that this is happening. Maybe if there's enough backlash, it will though. I don't know. Anyways though, I think I'll wrap it up there. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe with notifications set to all so you never miss out on another upload. Share this video and comment below what your thoughts are on this entire Squid Game premium event pass thing, and yeah, that's all for today, folks.
Neutralized RCXD. Eyes on enemy line. Hostile concussion spotted.